Hi, and welcome back to Alt Baking Bootcamp. I'm Mia Rigdon, nutritionist, chef, and the founder of Rasa. Today, we're making one of my favorite desserts, a Pavlova. What I love about Pavlova is that it's naturally gluten-free and a really light, fresh dessert made with meringue, some whipped cream, and then topped with fresh fruit. Pavlovas originate from Australia, New Zealand, and they're traditionally a summer dessert, but it's summer in Australia, so I figured it's okay to be making a pavlova now. Also, pavlovas are incredibly versatile because you can choose the fruit topping. And today we're gonna be using more winter tropical fruits like banana and kiwi that you should be able to find at your local grocery store. But you can make this recipe any time of year with whatever fruit you have on hand. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is prep our baking sheet. So I've got a half baking sheet right here and a piece of parchment paper. I have an 8-inch baking dish, but you could use a plate, the top of your KitchenAid, whatever. And I'm gonna trace a circle. This is just gonna guide our meringue. So that's the base of the pavlova. So we've got the circle, and we don't want any pencil on our meringue. So I'm just gonna flip it over, and I can still see the outline of the pencil, but it's not going to get on the meringue. So I'm gonna put this aside and preheat the oven to 250 degrees and then get our meringue going. All right, so now we're gonna get started on the meringue. Now, as I mentioned, meringues are naturally gluten-free, but this recipe normally calls for a cup of cane sugar. We're cutting that in half and using half a cup, which I really like because it really allows the sweetness of the fruit to shine. I'm gonna start by cracking 4 egg whites into the bowl of the stand mixer. So I'm just separating the yolks from the whites, making sure that there are no shells in the bowl. So I'm just gonna add a pinch of sea salt. There we go, that's a pinch. And we are going to beat these eggs until soft peaks form. You can do this by hand, but it would be really difficult. So if you've got a stand mixer or an electric, hand mixer, use that. All right, so our egg whites are nice and fluffy, and now I'm just gonna slowly add in half a cup of cane sugar. So now, as you can see, the egg whites have these really nice satiny peaks, and I'm going to sprinkle in some cornstarch, which is a thickening agent, and then I'm gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla and 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. All right, this looks good. So now we're going to grab the baking sheet, and I'm gonna mound the meringue in the middle of the circle that we have drawn and spread it out evenly to completely cover the circle. Now, before I put the meringue on the baking sheet, I'm just gonna make sure that all of the vanilla and the cornstarch and ingredients are evenly incorporated. Give the bowl a good scrape, and then we're gonna mound that right here in the middle. So try to get it as flat as possible, but the great thing about meringues is that part of their beauty is in their really abstract shapes, so you don't have to worry about it too much. And I can see the trace of the circle that we drew, and it's the perfect little guide. Try to get it as flat as possible. All right, that looks good to me. All right, so now I'm gonna put this in the oven for 1 hour and 15 minutes at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. After that 1 hour and 15 minutes is complete, I'm just gonna turn the oven off and let the meringue cool in the oven. It'll usually take about 30 minutes to cool in the oven, and it may still be a little bit warm when you take it out, and that's totally fine. All right, so I'm just gonna reset here and get ready to make our coconut whipped cream, which for all you Alt Baking Bootcamp fans, I'm sure you've made this 100 times because it's featured in so many of our recipes, but it's just some full-fat coconut cream and some vanilla extract. That's it. It was like 1/8 teaspoon. It was like 1/4 teaspoon. We're gonna whip this on high. All right, there we go, coconut whipped cream. I'm just gonna put this in a Tupperware and let it set in the fridge while we are waiting for our meringue to finish. So I just pulled the pavlova out of the oven, and it's been cooling there for about 30-40 minutes with the oven off. So we're gonna invert this onto the cake plate and then flip it over. So it just kind of peels right off. There we go. And then, so now we've got our meringue down and we are going to cover it with some of the coconut whipped cream we made and then garnish it with the fruit. So you wanna make sure that you have a bite of this whipped cream in every bite. And now here comes the fun part. All right, there we have it. Can you believe this? It is gorgeous. Pavlovas are one of my favorite recipes. Summer, winter, spring, fall. This is so good. I cannot wait for you to try it and to hear what you think. Thank you for watching this episode of Alt Baking Bootcamp. If you have any questions about this recipe, let us know in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to Well+Good on YouTube so you don't miss another episode of Alt Baking Bootcamp. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.